Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm the Hatman, once again at the production facility.
And I have a question.
A question?
Yeah, do I have to stomp motherfuckers out every week now?
Certainly seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's... Alright, so for context, there is a old school CG'er, and oddly enough, second week in a row, second fucking group of goofballs that named number one Marmaduke fan who decided to call me out with a Kafka trap. And then got pissy when I called him out on it and was obviously insulted because the way that the question was formed is I would only have one of two options. A, look like inconsistent in my logic for pulling Englewood off of Indicron because of the way that the ambassador of the site, Edwin Boyette, was promoting Vox Day and promoting John De La Rose and promoting those people associated with them. Of course, I want no association with them, as do many people. You know, and by the way, there is not a single person on the creative team for Englewood who disagreed with my position. Not a single one. But either I was inconsistent with that, or I was perfectly fine with the possibility of the legendary Chuck Dixon, somebody that I look up to, having his career destroyed. This is... First off, how stupid do you think I am that I'm going to fall for a Kafka trap?
Evidently, they think you were just pants on the head retarded.
Yeah, because you motherfuckers had best recognize I'm not called the OG because it's some sort of ironic thing. I've been around the block. I've been around since the start of Gamergate, and even before that as part of Blistered Thumbs. If you honestly think that I can't maneuver the minefield at this point, you got another thing coming. I'm smarter than your average gorilla. Second, how fucking dare you try to position me against Chuck Dixon, somebody I'm friendly with, somebody that I greatly look up to. How fucking dare you? And you think that I am not gonna respond to that with anger and bile? And by the way, this jackass tried to use the hot dog salesman line against me. Let me tell you this, kid. If you go in front of a hot dog booth and you pull your pants down and you take a dump in front of his booth, do you think he's going to serve you? Of course not. Salesmen don't sell to people who treat them like shit. That's the end of it. You came to me in bad faith. If you had a good faith reason for your line of questioning, you would have simply said, Micah, do you worry that your reasoning could be used against someone like a Chuck Dixon? You would have asked me directly. Or you would have said something along the lines of, well, what do you think of Chuck Dixon working with Vox Day? I would have answered you. You did not ask that. Your intention from the get-go was to try to make me look like the bad guy for protecting my own interests. Fuck you. I think it's downright ridiculous to even think that I would want somebody like Chuck Dixon, of all people, to be canceled. Do I like the fact that he works with Vox Day? No, I don't. I have never once told people not to buy the books that he has done with Archaven Publishing. Not once. I have made my position known. And if people want to take that into account whenever they use their money to buy things, that is up to them. But you can go back to the interview I did with Chuck about a year ago. And when he told me that he was working with Richard, I was ecstatic. And here's a little bit of inside baseball. There's a lot of people behind the scenes who don't like the fact that Chuck works with Fox Day. Because we think he's better than that. He's goddamn Chuck Dixon. He can do better. I believe in the man. Because he's one of my fucking heroes. And I hope that someday he will stop working with Fox Day and he will simply just do his own thing. Because the landscape has changed. I know 10 plus people who have hit the funding on their books on Indiegogo that are relative unknowns outside of the internet. That is unheard of to do it in such quick succession. And there is quite a bit of hype for people's next books. Myself included, I know that a lot of people are really looking forward to my next project. People see the sketches that are coming out of it and they fucking freak. Who am I? I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy who makes videos on the internet. That's it. I just happen to be a really good writer. But this is what we're dealing with at this point. There are people that are not doing what I am doing and not doing what others are doing, and you come in with your schemes and scams, and you try to stir the pot, and you try to turn people against one another. Because you want new subjects for your bullshit videos. There's plenty of other stuff to talk about. Let those of us who are trying to create. Let us do our fucking jobs. Stop trying to fuck with us all the time. We got shit to do. By the way, this number one Marmaduke fan, who's posing questions to Comicsgate, he fucking quit! Did the old dramatic, I'm out of Comicsgate, and all the drama is just doing so many bad things to comic books. Enough. If you're not going to help out with those of us who are trying to actually get stuff off the ground, get the fuck out of our way. We've got work to do. Bitch.
Stand beside or step aside.
Yeah. All right. I think I put the kibosh on that.
I think so too.
So, let's go ahead and get to the questions, because people pay for some of these. So, politics or entertainment? Flip the coin.
Do I have to flip a coin this time?
No, you don't have to if you already know what you want to do.
Oh, yeah, politics. Let's get it out of the way.
Gotcha. Okay. Autistic Whisperer asks, excuse me. Donald Trump confirmed on Saturday that the U.S. has killed Osama bin Laden, the son of former Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. Will this finally deter Al-Qaeda?
No.
No. Holy mission. We're going to have to eliminate them from the face of the earth.
Remember, they weren't deterred when Osama was killed.
Yeah.
So.
Koopa's Revenge Home asks a theological question. So, he says, do you think sola fide runs in contradiction with Galatians 3:23? Also, what are your thoughts on Calvinist predestination? I don't agree with predestination in just about any of its forms.
No, I don't either.
That's why we're not Calvinists. Galatians 3:23 says, and this is the New International Version, there is neither Jew nor Gentile, slave nor free, nor is there male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus.
That's 3:28.
Oh, it's 3:28. That's what he put in was 3:28. I'm sorry, not 3:23. Did he mean 3:23? Because that's an odd selection.
That doesn't really change much.
Well, yeah, that doesn't really contradict with sola fide. Sola fide is the idea that it means by faith alone, meaning that faith alone is enough to save you.
I mean, if anything, that whole selection there confirms it. I mean, just from 326 on, and this is also NIV. So in Christ Jesus, you are all children of God through faith. For all of you who are baptized into Christ have clothed yourselves with Christ. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. If you belong to Christ, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. I mean, it's right there. You are all children of God through faith.
Yeah, it's basically the anti-tribalism scripture. Like Galatians in general is very anti-tribalism, because at the time of the church, there were oftentimes these separations between newly converted Jewish Christians and other people from other areas that were coming to the faith as well. And they clash because the Jews come in with a religious history and a culture that was different than the rest of the Roman Empire. So, but this, oddly enough, is very topical given our conflicts, more so my own, with guys like Vox Day's Toadies, who claim to be Christians, but they hate Jews. You know, also people like Nick Fuentes or guys along those lines, where they state that they're Christians or that they're these strong Catholics, but they fucking hate Jewish people. You know, well, according to Paul, these things are secondary to our faith in Christ Jesus, because there are people who are Christians who are Jewish as well, who come from that Jewish background and still will bring those traditions alongside them into the Christian faith. Not to mention, you know, you look at the why is my brain the Great Commission? You know, go unto all the world. He's not, and keep in mind that speech was given in Israel, so he wasn't talking about just like every place but Israel. You know, it's ridiculous to me. But so no, that does not, in my opinion, contradict sola fide. What I think contradicts sola fide is other scriptures that talk about the necessity of works. Now, because I don't believe in sola fide. I think faith is important, obviously, but faith has to be what drives your actions. You can have faith in Jesus, but if your actions do not back that up, are you truly expressing what that faith has done with you? Has it really transformed you? And that's one thing that goes into the scripture in Revelation where Christ is basically saying, if you are lukewarm, I will spit you out. Basically, the actual Greek means vomit. I will vomit you out because of the way that you act, So
forceful expulsion.
Yes. So do I think this scripture contradicts sola fide? No, I think there's a lot more scripture out there that does, though.
Right.
So hopefully that answers your question. I love theological questions. I don't get to do them. You guys are making my student loan debt actually mean something. Oh, I love it. All right, let's keep going.
I think Swordsman 100's question is more for entertainment.
It's a little of both, but we'll save it for entertainment. Tyler Jorgensen asks, do we think the Democrats have a death wish by supporting gun bans? I don't think that they have a death wish. I think that they honestly think that that's what people want.
Yeah.
And they're just so out of touch.
Well, I think it's a combination of they think this is what people want and this is what they have wanted for a long time, but it was politically inconvenient for them to come out and say it.
Yeah.
Like now that they have, an all-star, so to say, outright saying, yes, I support confiscation. It's okay for them to say, yo, yeah, absolutely. Why not? Whereas before, you could, if you were getting into an argument with them, you could easily say, okay, what about all the people who bought ARs and AKs before an assault weapons ban came into place? Like, what happens to them? Do they get grandfathered in, or do they have to give up their weapons? And most people would say, oh, well, they can get grandfathered in, and that's what happened during the Clinton era assault weapons ban. You got grandfathered in, but now it's okay to say, nope, grab them all, fuck them.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it's a death wish. I think they genuinely do not understand what it means for them, and they think that because all the polls say that most Americans support greater restrictions on guns, that they think is a surefire way to win. But
Not to
no,
mention the polls that they're citing are not greater restrictions.
no, no.
They never were.
And on top of that, that is a big thing for one issue voters. A lot of one issue voters are against gun control. That is their big deal. I mean, that is a massive, massive deal for me. So any Democrat or really anyone, Democrat or Republican, who advocates for the confiscation of firearms will not get my vote. Absolutely not. I do not care about any of their other policies. That is one that is of supreme importance to me. Just personal anecdote. Still got a little bit of Sprite in here. All right, we ready to go to the next one?
Yes, definitely. All right, Hardboiled Entertainment asks, what exactly is the deal with Trump's statements on vaping? What's going on here? How do you think it'll turn out? So this is a public scare that he's falling for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that an actual ban has gone through, not to my knowledge, but there's been a couple state ones.
Yeah, and the FDA has said that they want to super regulate vaping. It's kind of ironic in a way, because vaping came about as a way for people who are addicted to cigarettes to still get their nicotine fix, but not actually smoke.
Yeah.
Because it was considered harmless, and now they're saying, oh, there's a whole bunch of deaths associated with it. You're inhaling glass. I mean, 6 people have died.
Yeah, and those people died because they modified it when they shouldn't have. And they didn't know what they were doing.
They either modified it or they inhaled THC infused juice.
Yeah.
Which it's sort of a mod, but regardless, this is still a very, very new thing. So this sort of knee-jerk reaction of, oh my god, all the kids are doing it, like, come on. Are you really about to push people back to cigarettes by banning vaping devices? Are you that stupid?
It's absolutely ridiculous. And not to mention, certain vaping products can be good for you health-wise. One thing that I've been recommended to do on top of taking my blood pressure medication is vaping CBD oil. Now, I got no money to buy a vape. Those things are fucking expensive. But
good God, they are.
But if I had the money, I would be doing it already, to be completely frank with you. So
there you go. But yeah, there's a conspiracy theory also going around that major tobacco companies have paid off a lot of these politicians to get vaping cans. So
any accusation without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. I don't buy that. I think that it wouldn't surprise me if there are people that have a vested interest, but I would need some sort of reporting on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if some of those companies have already invested in vaping technologies of their own. It's going to be the future. They're going to invest in it,
Yeah.
Do you really think that Marlboro couldn't hire an engineer to come up with a really good vape that they could sell for cheap?
Seriously.
Seriously. It's going to happen.
They could buy one of the vape brands already. They could buy Juul.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If they wanted to. Actually, who owns Juul? I think somebody already bought them out. Somebody bought them out recently. Truth Initiative is the #1 result. Fuck you.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's like in the automotive industry. Do you really think that everybody was really that scared of Tesla? No, they all started making their own electronics.
Mm-hmm.
And in the next 20 years, most cars that you will probably find on the road will be electronic.
Yep. Um, doesn't say.
But that tends to be how the market works. You know, if there's this new awesome technology that's changing how things are doing, usually the people with the money are going to want to keep the money, so they're going to invest in the new stuff to try to keep making money in perpetuity. You know. You know, it's like, I can speak as somebody who works in one of the biggest insurance companies in the world. Companies like Root or some of the other ones that do like a pay-as-you-go sort of thing, we're not shaking in our boots. We're strategizing. You know, we're trying to see what the new stuff we need to do is to stay ahead of the curve too. It's the beauty of capitalism. You know, we're going to come up with good products, and we're going to come up with great ways to deliver it, and we're going to find other areas where they're weak and strengthen them. Like that's how you compete, man. So I don't think that's the case. All right, let's move on to, while you look that up, from the Discord that we missed. Talon asks, so the whole over my cold dead hands, it's from my cold dead hands, but how many Americans do you think would go through with that, and would the left really go that far? Most Americans would fight back against a tyrannical government.
Yes.
And yes, I do think the left will go that far one day.
Yeah, I think so too.
It will not go the way that they plan.
We must use violence to stop violence.
The irony of war. Holy Ninja Toe asks, who do we think the best Democratic candidate for Trump to win against is? The easiest victory of all the people in the top 10 is Cory Booker.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yes.
He would never be able. He would look like a complete idiot when he started saying a lot of the things he says to Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. The whole Cory Booker is a closeted gay man thing would come out and would blow up, and then you'd have people on the left saying, "Why did you feel the need to hide it?" It would totally blow up in his face, even from the base, and Trump would run with it.
Oh yeah, but no, that would be one of the most of the top 5 though. I think the easiest win is Elizabeth Warren, which is I think that's the easiest one, just because she has the same problem Cory Booker has. She says half the stuff that she says in front of Donald Trump. She's gonna end up looking stupid.
I think the easiest win would be Bernie Sanders.
Honestly. You think Bernie would be easier?
I think Bernie would be easier.
Why is that?
The only reason why is because you've got the old white man factor.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking like just in the course of a debate.
Oh no! Well,
probably
in a debate, even like Elizabeth Warren is just a better articulated Bernie Sanders.
Fair.
That's basically it. Bernie Sanders would get flustered and keep stuttering. He wouldn't know what to say, how to react. You know, Trump would have him on his heels the entire time. He really would not know how to bite back, because you saw that in the debates with Hillary Clinton. I mean, you've seen that in some of the Democratic debates now. He doesn't know how to bite back.
No,
Elizabeth Warren can do that. It's just she's like a terrier. She thinks she's bigger than she actually is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Let's see here. CT117 says, played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 on my Xbox One, and at one of the parts where I die, I read a quote saying, "Patriotism ruins history" by Gaith. Is there any truth to that? No.
What? Patriotism ruins it. No.
Yeah. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe was kind of overly cynical.
Yeah, I'm failing to see any sort of argument in favor of that, because it basically just goes right back to nationalism. But there is a distinct difference between like overt nationalism and patriotism is more like civic nationalism anyway.
Yeah.
Like nationalism, that's like, you know, blood and soil sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is very, very different than just believing that you live in the best country ever. It's very different.
Yeah, there's something very unique about German nihilism, German cynicism, those sorts of things, and that was always one thing that they always questioned. So. Okay. Let's move on to entertainment.
All right.
Koopa's Revenge Home asks, what do we think of speedrunning? I find it an interesting topic, been watching Summoning Salt videos.
Yeah, I've been binging Summoning Salt's videos too, and some of the other ones too from the speedrunning community. It's interesting to me, but I can't really watch a speedrun unless it's like really, really short. I've tried speedrunning some of the 2D Metroid games, but of course, my times are not nearly optimized. But it's fun to try every now and again, and it's fun to pop in. The speedrunning community, on the other hand, I think is hit or miss, to say the least.
It's a good way to put it.
Just look at some of the controversies at GDQ.
Oh God.
And you'll see, like banning the dude for supposedly wearing a MAGA hat on stream when he didn't wear the hat and had video evidence to prove it, and they still said, well, you're banned anyway. It's fucking stupid.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, much respect to the people who put in the time and the grind for that shit.
Yeah.
Lord knows I couldn't do it.
Kale Bach asks, suppose in some weird alternate universe the MCU got the rights to make JoJo movies. You were given control over them. How would you adapt them into the cinematic universe?
Why the fuck do we keep getting fucking JoJo and MCU question?
You have no idea how popular JoJo actually is. But I would never mix those two elements ever. Like that would not work. That's like oil and water. Like just no. That would not work.
You wouldn't have a Dio Doctor Doom crossover.
No. I would just no. The just no. I wouldn't even. Live action JoJo even sounds stupid, and it exists, and it is stupid. So yeah. Daniel Garza asks, thoughts on Jojo Rabbit?
There's a different JoJo.
The Thor Ragnarok director is doing a drama comedy about a Hitler youth with Hitler for an imaginary friend and a Jewish girl on his wall.
I've heard about it. I'm aware of it. I don't really have any interest in it.
I
mean, that's the thing. I didn't really like Thor Ragnarok, so I don't know that I could say, yeah, I'll give it a shot because I like Taika Waititi. I didn't care for Ragnarok, so I don't know if he brings that brand of humor, then maybe. But I just thought that was inappropriate for like a Thor movie or something.
Yeah, the synopsis is one of the goofiest things I've ever read in my life. During World War II, lonely German boy Jojo Rabbit Belzer has his worldview turned upside down when he discovers his single mother, Rosie, played by Scarlett Johansson, is hiding a young Jewish girl in her attic. Aided only by his imaginary friend in the form of an idiotic version of Adolf Hitler, played by Taika Waititi, Jojo must confront his ideology. That actually sounds hilarious. I might watch this. This sounds so fucking stupid.
I don't know. I have a feeling it'll be very, very virtue signaling.
Maybe, but it just...
Well, I'll do this. I'll give it a watch, if only because I went to see Black Klansman thinking that it was going to be like hyper virtue signally, and even though it did have virtue signals in it, it still managed to be good.
Except for the end.
Except for the very end is what just fucking killed it.
Yeah.
That just killed it.
I'm sorry, just something about Adolf Hitler acting like a complete and total goofball just sounds hilarious.
Comedy Hitler. How many reviewers do you think are going to say this is dangerous because we shouldn't be making light of Hitler?
It wouldn't surprise me if that's the angle it goes, and it wouldn't surprise me if YTT is trying to virtue signal with it. Like it wouldn't like YTT. Everything he's been doing lately has been virtue signaling until he recently came out and said, "No, Natalie Portman is not the star of Thor: Love and Thunder. It's a Thor movie." And by the way, the woke scolds fucking jumped on him. So yeah. No, it does look funny. I might give it a watch. We'll see what happens. Ultimate Agent 25 asks, thoughts on the undead being the heroes in a high fantasy story.
So like vampires?
Well, I was going to say, so like Warcraft 3?
It's like vampires?
Like, or even like Legacy of Kain. Legacy of Kain's high fantasy.
I'll say this. I'm not huge on undead, really, like, at all. If only because it sort of cheapens the impact that death is supposed to have.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, high fantasy, I understand, totally fucking different rules, but I don't like the idea of undead or, otherwise being resurrected.
I like it being played as a joke, like the game Medieval.
Oh yeah, that's different. That's different.
But that's the thing. It's like
Excuse me.
Like using the undead in a storyline, thematically speaking, is usually used to emphasize, death, or if used as parody to, kind of make light of death. So yeah, it's you could maybe do something interesting with it. Like Warcraft did a few interesting things with it, but it's not something I would go into necessarily.
Yeah. Not for me. Anything I'm writing, if you die, you stay dead. Now, you can be a voice in somebody's head, but it won't be you. It'll be their idea of what you were. But that's about it. I think that's more interesting to explore than anything else. How people remember you after you're gone. Anyway, let's move on. Uh-oh.
Yep, let's see what else we got here. Thoughts on the game Blaze Blue? We're going to answer these quick, because
yeah, I've never played Blaze Blue.
Played it once. Was fun. Very anime. Autist Whisperer asks, thoughts on Control not selling well in the US? Remedy Entertainment should have just made Alan Wake 2. Probably would have been called Alan Woke.
I still need to pick it up. It like I said, it's been on my list. I need to pick it up. But Alan Woke, that's funny.
I didn't think Control looked that interesting.
I thought it did. I want it.
But then that's kind of been my problem with I haven't liked a a Remedy Entertainment game since Max Payne 2. So that's 2003.
God.
I didn't like Alan Wake. I didn't like American Nightmare. I didn't like Quantum Break either. I don't think I would like Control.
Quantum Break was just weird, though, because you had that freaking series attached to it.
Yeah, well, my whole thing is this. I'm of the opinion that they struck gold with Max Payne and Max Payne 2, but like ever since then, it really feels like they've been trying to do Max Payne-ish things without making a Max Payne game because they don't have the license for it.
Take-Two owns the Max Payne license, right?
Rockstar does, yeah.
Rockstar, okay. Well, same wheelhouse, basically.
And Max Payne 3 was great.
Mm.
So... So yeah, I'm
still wanting to pick it up.
Yeah,
so.
I'm personally just not that interested.
Fair enough.
But thoughts on it not selling well? That I'm not sure. It didn't really build a whole lot of hype. It wasn't a game that a lot of people were really looking forward to.
It got like one little mini trailer at the PlayStation show at E3 2018, I think. Or was it 2017? It was one or the other, and you really didn't hear anything about it afterwards. I mean, I didn't realize it was out until I started seeing reviews popping up for it. I'm like, oh shit, this thing is out? I thought that wasn't going to come out for another year.
Yeah, it never really caught on. So, Incel Mafioso asks, opinion on the rumors of Denzel Washington possibly playing Magneto? No, thank you. And I love Denzel Washington, mind you.
Yeah, love Denzel. No.
No, thank you. No. You don't need to race swap Magneto.
Please do not.
I mean, you're already taking away the redheads. Now you're gonna start taking away the Jews. Like, come on now. Like this is getting a little ridiculous. Yeah, it's because it's being done for woke points. Like, and I. Why? 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 It, like, what story are you gonna make that's gonna be compelling for Denzel Washington to be Magneto, to make Magneto a black man, without fucking up the entire history of the MCU? It makes more sense for a Polish Jew to be taken away from his family at Auschwitz. Like, yeah, he's super fucking old. He's also a superhuman. You could argue that, like, mutation slows your aging or something. Like, there's a bunch of bullshit comic book things you can do. Or you can find something else, in regards to treatment of the Jews that would translate to the modern day. No, do not do that. If you want Denzel Washington as a villain, find a villain for Denzel Washington to be. Don't just force him into this role. It's like the whole thing with, like, making Michael B. Jordan Superman. Why? Like,
I don't understand it.
Why can't he be John Henry Irons? Who's an awesome fucking character.
Because it's never enough.
Well, and this is my issue. Like, what's wrong with the black characters that are already in comic books? Why can't Denzel Washington be Brother Voodoo? What's wrong with Brother Voodoo? You have a problem with black people? Alright. John Weitzel asks, if Jordan Peterson went to the Tokyo 3 area to treat the Evangelion pilots' mental issues, would the third impact be averted? How clean would Shinji's room be?
Jordan Peterson needs to popularize the phrase, "You mustn't run away."
Yes, he does. Yes, he
Just
does.
to make that all full circle.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Shinji kind of needed somebody like that, to be honest with you. That's actually why, oddly enough, in Project Lazarus, I created a character that is a psychologist to be in the story, because I didn't want, because I realized that my main character, with the shit I'm putting him through, he would become Shinji if he didn't have somebody to help.
Mm-hmm.
So,
pretty sure Asuka would tell Dr. Peterson to fuck off.
Yeah. Ray would just get
in German.
Ray would just get fascinated with lobsters. I didn't realize it was that good of a line.
Somebody draw that, please. Somebody draw Ray poking around lobsters while Asuka is screaming German in the background at Jordan Peterson.
That would be amazing fan art.
Oh my god. All right, let's move on.
Yes. All right, so the question from politics that we were going to answer here, where was it? So one thing I noticed with your Indicron situation is that the far left and far right alike are against freedom of association. Why is that? Well,
because how dare you fraternize with the enemy?
Yeah, or how dare you turn against these people that you're supposed to be associated with? Mm-hmm. I'll be honest about something. I never, there is no fucking membership card that I signed to be white, Christian, conservative, libertarian, or anything along those lines, or Comicsgate. Mm-hmm. And if you want to leave, go for it. And if you want to stay, awesome. But there are buy-ins for all of them. And there are principles behind them, except for the white thing. There's no principles behind being white. It's a skin color. It's meaningless. So, yeah, it's one of those things where you have to be all in. And if you're not, people will try to destroy you. And like I ranted at the beginning, that's what they're trying with me. Is I dared challenge somebody who is tangentially associated with Chuck Dixon, who they know I am a huge fan of, who they know I look up to. They are going to try to use Chuck to destroy me. That's the end of it. But no, that is something that I've noticed too. You're not allowed to break from the herd. You're not allowed to challenge the narrative. You're not allowed to think for yourself. And any group out there that is like that can go fuck themselves. Alright, Samurai Bear asks, thoughts on Marvel letting Shonen Jump write some of their characters? I'm both interested and apprehensive. Probably better than what they're doing right now.
Yeah, true.
He doesn't work with Shonen Jump, but if you give me a Kentaro Miura Wolverine miniseries, I'm all over it. Though the problem is, if you give it to Kentaro Miura, it's not getting done for 6 years, and Logan will be on a boat for 3 of them. Tyler Jorgensen asks, as a comic book writer, do you have any starting tips for newcomers? I have an idea for a comic myself. I'm not going to name it because I don't want anybody to rip him off. But any starting tips for newcomers? First, work with people who are humble and are willing to listen to whoever the creative lead is. Mm-hmm. Every person that I've worked with so far listens to what I have to say, and they respect the fact that I own the franchise. Mm-hmm. They prefer that I am the ideas guy. Second thing, do not expect massive success on your first project. It might even fail. Keep trying. Give it a couple of tries before you move on to something else. I think that, honestly, I could end up being, extremely lucky with Englewood, to be honest with you. we'll have to see what happens with the next campaign. But I'm confident. But I've seen crazier things happen. Those would be my tips.
General writing advice. Make sure you know where you're going. Like if you want this to be a limited series, if you want this to be a monthly, if you want it to even be a monthly but have a distinct endpoint, just make sure you know what you're writing towards. Because if you don't, you're going to write yourself into a corner almost every time. One of the best pieces of advice I was ever given is when you're formulating a story, decide where it starts and decide where it ends. The rest of it will fill in along the way, but you have to have those points in mind. And also, get an artist who you can work well with. Like when you're scripting the story too, you got to make sure that you are writing for the artist. I mean, yes, of course, for your audience too. But if you're doing a comic book, especially, make sure that your artist knows how to translate your ideas into visuals. And sometimes, your ideas might clash. Your artist might say, well, I think, this shot would work better as a over the shoulder as opposed to an overhead. And you might think otherwise. Like, just trust your artist too. Like, don't compromise on your vision, sure, but trust that your artist knows what they're doing. And if they get something wrong, then you can always say, hey, can you do this over again, or can you do this differently? More often than not, you're going to get better results than you expected, though, especially if you have an artist that you really mesh well with. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's been our experience with Brian.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap.
And with Preston Acevedo too.
Oh good God, yes. Oh my God, I can't wait for you guys to see his stuff.
Yeah.
I really can't wait.
Like, it's not hard for me to have conversations with these guys, and they can pick up what I'm putting down rather easily. Or they'll even tweak the designs that I've already come up with in really good directions.
Yeah. Preston, though, I just know this. He's going to blow me away. Just what I've read of his project, I'm going to be blown away. Like, I know what's coming, and I'm still going to be shocked. I can feel it. I can just feel it. Seriously, guys, he's that good. He's that good.
And there's other people that I hope to work with in the future too. And I'm going to basically offer to just right now, point blank, to any Comicsgate artists, if you put out your book and one of the criticisms is the writing style, you're more than welcome to come to me and ask if you'd like me to script the next issue. And if because I would like to work on a lot of these, because there's a lot of talented artists. I'm not going to name any names because I don't want them to think that I'm being like critical of them behind their back or something. I'll have that conversation in private. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I love working with super talented people, and I love trying to help people out, because there are guys that I'm working with right now that have their own stuff on the back burner, that while I'm working on one book, they're going to have their book going on Indiegogo. But I might end up scripting that one too, But that's my goal. I want my 5-year goal with comic books is to not be at my day job, that this is my day job. That I'm waking up, I'm working out in the morning, I'm hitting my computer, and I'm scripting a comic. That would be fucking awesome. Seriously. And I'll get there. I have no doubt that I'll get there someday. It's just going to take hard work.
Hard work.
All right. What do we got next? Oh, Holy Ninja Joe asks, favorite... We answered the anime ending song last week. So watch last week's episode. Chaos Sonic asks, will there ever be a day that Zoe Quinn will reap what she's sown? Also, what happened with the Indicron? Because I want to know, because what's going on. So that's 2 questions. We try to keep it to 1.
And then a PS on top of that. That's 3 questions.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that, please. We're gonna answer 1 out of that. It's the Indicron thing. So I did a video on it, but I'll put it quicker. Basically, what happened was I got Indicron to host Englewood in their listings. Mm-hmm. And I had been told by a lot of people that it would be, and I'll give some inside baseball here. I was told by a lot of people that they're really good at bringing in more revenue. And then Pixel Trader said to me he was going to try to get me on this show he does every week. Well, Pixel Trader took a mental health break and deleted most of his Twitter, and then Edwin Boyette, who is the ambassador for the website, started to promote Vox Day and his toadies on Twitter very openly. And I don't know why he did it. I'm not going to say that Edwin is a white nationalist or anything. I don't think he is. But I do not want anything that I do in my personal brand put anywhere near those guys. So and here's another thing. They do not have a way for you to email them and to ask to be delisted.
Yeah.
I am not happy with that sort of thing. Because it put me in a bad position. Either one of 2 things was going to happen. I was going to DM Edwin and ask for him to delist the comic, and likely he probably would not have wanted it to happen, and he probably would have fought me on it. What I did was a calculated move. I went public with it, and with my reasoning for it. People didn't like that. People think that I probably should have settled that in private. I'll say this. That's legit criticism, and that's perfectly fine. I don't agree, but from my perspective, the route that I took was the only one I could take and get results. Mm-hmm. So, is it callous of me? A little bit. Maybe it's cynical of me, but it worked. They delisted me very quickly. Right after the video went up. Bam. I was off. But one thing that I did on there in that tweet thread was I said, for other Comicsgate creators, I would not recommend listing your comic there. Then again, I'm nobody. I'm just one guy with a $10,000 close to book. That's it. But to give you guys a little inside baseball, next book probably wouldn't have been put on there anyway unless something changed. Because I look at their the listings here of where I made money and where a lot of these contributions came from. Most of them came from YouTube. Referrals from YouTube. People watching my content. Then from people searching for this content on Indiegogo. Then people from Twitter. Then people just exploring Indiegogo. Then from direct links, which could be from anywhere. Then Google searches. Then other searches on Indiegogo. I only made $76 because of Indicron. That's it. That's not very much. They're listing the idea that they really bring in this much revenue for people, in my case, was not true. So I was already dissatisfied. I was dissatisfied that Pixel Trader makes this promise to me and then doesn't deliver. I'm just simply upset that nothing is happening. That it's just a listing. It's well, this is a bust.
I've got numbers right now on Pixel Trader's overall contributions or net contributions to Englewood.
Yeah, it's
low.
It's non-existent almost.
Pretty much.
And if you did find the book from that website, awesome. Of the 5 people who did. But the hard numbers are that's 5 out of 377 people. That's not much. So that's what happened. You know, I don't want to be associated with those kind of people. And Edwin put me in that place. And he puts a lot of other people in that place too, whether he realizes it or not. And he and others have tried to deflect it and pit me against Chuck Dixon. That is callow, to say the least. All right. Talon Silverbean wants to know, for our final question, have you taken a chance to check
Not
out...
our final question. We got two more.
Oh. He says, have we had the chance to check out Greedfall? No.
No, I have not. Is that like the Dragon Age thing that people are getting real worked up about?
I have no clue.
Yeah, trying to colonize an island with hostile native population. Yeah, I think Kotaku like reviewed it by saying it's apologizing for colonizers or some BS like that.
Yeah.
It don't fucking surprise me anymore. It doesn't. Let them bitch. Let them whine.
Yeah. What are the other questions we have?
Those are the ones that I threw in the Discord. Those were the email questions. The ones that were last week, but not on time. Remember, everybody, if you want a question on the Overflow, it's got to get in during that weekend. So Saturday or Sunday, it's got to get in on those days. Afterwards, you're out of luck. You go to the next Overflow. So these are the questions from last week that were late. So Ugly Media 2 asks, how would Superman stop the kid from Brightburn? The kid is extremely irredeemable and sadistic, but he's still a kid. How would Superman try to deal with this situation?
You ever seen how he dealt with Superman Prime? Similar concept. By the way, one thing that I actually toyed around with, this idea of there being a part in Project Lazarus where Alpha gets thrown into one of the Hell Gates and he has to basically travels through all these dimensions. I thought about the opening for that issue basically being him killing the kid from Brightburn. I don't know if I want to do that, though. It'd be kind of dark.
I'm not familiar with Brightburn.
So it's a film that was made by James Gunn. That's basically like like what if Superman was born evil? So it's basically
born evil.
Yeah. So
okay, so it's not like Injustice.
No, he basically fucking murders his family with superpowers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that a look.
So yeah, it's good from what I've heard, but yeah, I just thought it would be interesting to see him face another superhuman, one who is not afraid to kill the kid, you know. And Alpha would definitely qualify, mostly because Alpha is about as strong as the Hulk, you know. But anyway, I don't know if I want to do that with Alpha just because of how dark that is, you know. I don't want the comic to be that dark. That would come across as a little too edgy. But anyway, next question. We have one more, right?
Yep, last one. Long one from Serena, because it would not be a Serena question if it wasn't long. All right. Trying to get started on writing my own comic story, but I'm having a hard time planning out the plot points. I know who my protagonists are and antagonists are, but I don't know how to string it together in a coherent manner. To preface this, I'm someone who suffers from a stream of consciousness wherever I try to activate my creative side.
Uh-huh.
As a result, I constantly second-guess plot points or ideas in my story. I tend to go into over-analyzing mode, which often confuses and frustrates me because I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. It makes the writing process difficult and long. As fellow creatives, what advice could you give to people like me who struggle to chain together a potential story? How do you guys plan out your story? This is right up my alley.
So here's what I do. I just outline it and start from there. Like if you're doing a comic book, I outlined 6 issues and then said to myself, okay, what do I like about this? What do I not like about this? And then I took out the things I didn't like and I added in and just altered them. And then I stopped. Just one pass through is really all you need. don't go outside your instincts. Because if you do, you will end up overanalyzing it, and it will look, it won't have any heart to it. One thing that I would do, also, or that I also do, is I tend to, as I start the writing process, start cutting the things that aren't necessary. But you need to start actually writing it, because if you spend too much time world building, you will never get the story written, because you're never going to be satisfied with the world.
Yes. And you will start doing things like trying to figure out solar cycles to justify where the sun rises and sets. Trust me, I know about this. It gets stupid sometimes because I get stupid sometimes. There's no reason why I need to learn physics in order to justify that sort of thing. So this is what I do. I have a whole notes, Word, whatever you want to call it, a document where I put anything that comes into a stream of consciousness, I throw it in there. I can refer back to it whenever I'm actually trying to outline stuff, because it will give me ideas of where to go. Typically, I know where in the story something will be. Like, for example, let me bring it up now. Okay, so random quote. Don't let the world collapse on your shoulders. I know exactly where that is. That's one character's last words. Now, if I suddenly decided, you know what, that might serve another character better, I can move that around, if need be. But that was just a random quote that just popped into my brain. When I refer back to this document, I can assign it to wherever it needs to go. And then I can pull up, for example, my big plot outline that I've got going here, which I've also got quotes in. And if I need to, I can plug it into, okay, here it is, this character's death, their last words. Okay, plug it in right there. It's good to go. That sometimes will help you get an idea of your main plot structure. But if you're second guessing everything, honestly, like, write out your plot. Even if you decide later to change it up, write the whole thing with the change too. Keep the old one. Always, always, always keep your old writing, because you never know when you will need it for whatever reason, whether it be reference, whether it be inspiration, or just something like, hey, this was really shitty. I'm glad I'm not writing that shitty anymore. Just something. I've got stuff from, no shit, 15 years ago that I'm still pulling from. I'm still able to find some sort of creative influence in there. Write everything down. Even if it's a stream of consciousness, even if it doesn't make any damn sense whatsoever, write everything down. Eventually, it will come together, because you will start to read it all and you will want it to come together. Especially if you've already got your characters lined up, it's going to come together faster than you think. I mean, there's some people I know that have their characters, but they don't know where to put them, and they don't know if they're going to keep them all in there, and they don't know the plot anyway. You're further along than they are. Just keep going. Keep going. Overanalyze things if you want to, but make sure you write everything down first. And I think that's all I got to give.
Yep, I don't think I have anything past that either. And I'm hoping to get, Jesus. People are buzzing me like crazy. I'm hoping to get some writing done tonight, but I haven't eaten yet. So, and I have a pork roast that I need to put in my slow cooker so I can turn it into pulled pork.
Oh. Ooh. Get you some, actually, if you can find it, in your grocery store, go look for the Heinz barbecue sauces and find the Carolina vinegar sauce.
I actually have
a taste of Carolina barbecue.
I actually have the Sweet Baby Ray's stuff that I use that I'm going to use for it.
That works.
Mostly because it's not super high.
I said we use Sweet Baby Ray's a lot around here.
Yeah, it's not super high in sugar, so the rub I'm going to put on it is parsley, cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, paprika. And then I'm just going to marinate it.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and I'm just going to marinate it overnight in beef stock.
That sounds really good. But yeah, vinegar sauce if you want some Carolina barbecue. Well, that's Eastern style barbecue. But I like the Eastern sauce more, I think. Lexington style and Eastern style. I like them both, but I think I prefer the Eastern sauce more. Just how I am.
To each their own. All right. Let's go ahead and call this bring this to a close.
Random bug fluttering me. Whatever.
Yeah, I was just looking on Twitter to see this something Vinny had sent to me. I got Vinny's book in City of Venus. So, and what's really crazy about this is all, I think that he did all of the art, like pencils, inks, colors. Like Vinny is super talented.
Good God.
Yeah, he's ridiculously good. So, a lot of added art in here too. This is sort of what we're wanting to do with the collector's edition, only on a much bigger scale. Like the collector's or the director's cut of Englewood is going to be like 50, 60 pages. So, alrighty, folks. But we're going to go ahead and head out. I think that checking on the Twitter, I think the drama is finally over. The kibosh has been put on things, and I'm going to go take care of some of my friends who are not having a good night. So, yeah, it's one of those. But we do appreciate you guys stopping by. One thing just to reiterate, please, whenever you're asking these questions, please keep it to one, just a question, single question to, per podcast. Because some of these are like, what are your thoughts on X? Like, it would probably be better if you ask, have you seen and do you like? Would probably fit a little bit better.
Something a little more direct.
Yep. All right, we are going to go ahead and take off, though. We love all of you. So we will continue to create awesome stuff, and I'm going to go write awesome stuff and go from there. So until then, my name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, and this Hatman needs another whiskey.
We'll see you guys later. Dave's Vault.
Dave's Vault.